Hello, this is our yearly garden tour. So you can see this is how the garden is looking in the middle of June. You can see the big feature right now is the apricot tree, which is towards the end of the harvest period. One change since the last few videos is that I've been focusing more on figs and collecting different types of figs. So I'll show you that as we get started with the tour. Let's go start from the left. Here's our compost ring. One interesting thing is that we have some potatoes growing in the compost. So I'm gonna get a few small potatoes. And then going in here, we can start with this. This is a Panache Fig growing inside of a little pot. So you can see there's a bunch of tiny figs. And Panache is a striped fig. Pretty common variety, pretty good. It's a berry variety. So this is doing well. In the shade over here, I have two other smaller figs that are both, this is their second year. So this one is an I-320, Italian 320, very good tasting fig. And this is a Lebanese Bekaa Valley, which also has some small figs on it. Next to that, we have a black Madeira. You notice I have some of them bagged, trying to deter the squirrels, and also there's the fig fly now is being present in Northern California. So I have some strategies for dealing with that, but this is one of them. Go up here, this is the parent I-320 that we took the cutting from to propagate. You can see it has quite a few figs on there. Next to that, we have one of my favorite tomatoes to grow. This is the Sungold. It has one tomato that looks like it's ready to ripe. It's a very sweet, tropical tasting cherry tomato, very unique. And you can see I'm growing it up this string trellis using these clips. Next to it, we have a volunteer that's growing straight from the ground. This is probably one of the seeds from last year's Sungold tomatoes. It's growing actually pretty healthy. It's also a pretty shaded spot though. Does have a few tomato clusters though, so we'll get to taste it and see. Probably won't be as good as the mother plant though. Next to it, we have another fig. This is Cravens Craving, which is a variant of a black Madeira type. So black Madeira is known as one of the better tasting figs, so I have quite a few copies of it. Maybe 2 black Madeiras and 2 Cravens Craving. Next to it here, we have a Shishito pepper growing kind of in the shade here. And next to that, we have another Cravens Craving. A bunch of figs setting already, so that's good. So the question is whether we'll get them or will the squirrels get them. Next to that, we have a Violette De Bordeaux. So this is quite an old tree. I think this is its 3rd or 4th year, but this is the first time it's really given a lot of figs. I think it was a tissue culture because I constantly have it trying to sprout from the bottom, and just in general just creating lots of branching. So it looks like it's starting to mature a little bit and get out of that phase, but lots of baby figs on here. Next to here we have a Col de Dame Noir. This fig woke up very late, but then all of a sudden burst a lot of growth. I don't see any figs though yet on it. This is its second year as well. So we might have to wait another year for that one. Next to this one is a Ronde De Bordeaux. It's not doing so great, has figs on it, but I think it might have had some spider mites. So I tried spraying an organic spray to try to control that. So we'll see what happens with that. Next to here I have my little flower container. Zinnias are starting to bloom. In the back is the remnants of parsley as it flowers. You can see it creates a ton of seeds and just generally just self-seeds everywhere. And also at the bottom we have some lavender growing. This is one of those carrot family, I think, that has a nice umbrella flower. Next out here we have an unknown fig. They're growing very vigorously. So it has some figs on it, so hopefully we'll taste it and find out what it is. And then next to that we have a mulberry tree. So the rootstock here is an ever-bearing mulberry, dwarf ever-bearing mulberry, which I was hoping was going to grow short, but in actuality it was more of like a 15 to 20 foot tree. And so I decided to try to graft it with some slower growing varieties that I can manage better. Also in general, the fruit quality on the dwarf ever-bearing wasn't that great. Very small berries. So here you can see we have a bunch of different grafts. So this is Persian Black, and I think this one is a Black Beauty, and then this is another Black Beauty over here. So you can see here how the graft tuning is. So these were kind of whip and chunk grafts, and this was a bark graft. And I think there was another graft on the back side as well. You can see there are some berries this year for the first time on the grafts. I don't think the quality is that high. Oh, there's one here that's kind of it's a bit weird. But they're much bigger, at least, than the everbearing. I'm not expecting too much this year, but hopefully next year. Next to that, we have the bed, which I'm planning to move some of the figs over here because they're getting too crowded. Then here we have a cucumber. I think this is green light. It's doing pretty well. They're kind of vulnerable to spider mites though, and other things. But you can see we have some bunch of baby cucumbers on there. So hopefully we'll get something this month. Next to that, we have one of my favorite tomato plants. This is dwarf Rosella purple. And you can see some bigger tomatoes at the bottom. This plant tomato tastes very, very good. They're very kind of savory, kind of like a Cherokee purple, which is a famous heirloom variety, but it doesn't grow out of control. So you don't need to prune it, just need to stake it or cage it to keep it up. And otherwise it just grows kind of on its own. Next to that, we have a grape tomato called Celano. So that's kind of small. Next to that, this huge big plant is actually a tomato plant, which is flowering right now. Fortunately, these are not edible fruit. They're quite poisonous, actually. Give you a very bad stomach ache. So hopefully we'll get some tomatoes down in there. And this cage is actually more for support. So they tend to flop over very easily. So this cage is helping support. Next to that, we have our rose plant. These smell pretty good. And next to that, our raspberry bed, which we have the first flush. So I guess on the floricanes, we have some fruit. So we can pick one. So that's how. So this is a golden variety, I think, called Anne. Tastes pretty good. Unfortunately, it's not probably in the best position. So this is probably needs full sun, and the apricot and fig tree are kind of blocking that for it. Okay. If we zoom back out over here, we have our apple tree. There's quite a few apples. This is a Gala apple. So good fruit set this year, I think. I was a little bit worried because the winter wasn't that good. And then next to that is our apricot tree, which has a ton of apricots. Also a ton of apricots on the floor. The squirrels have been getting maybe 100 of them. But the tree probably produced very well this year after 2 years of producing less. So I think last year maybe we got 30 or 40 apricots. Maybe before that, maybe only 10 or 20. And this year, probably in the hundreds. Let's go around in the back. So actually this is like 2/3 of the way through the apricot season. So what you see here is kind of the remaining ones. You can see also the squirrels taking bites out of a bunch of them. So those I just left them for them to finish. But there's still quite a few apricots on the tree that are not ripened. So I think for the next week we should get still, I'm thinking there's probably still another 100 apricots on the tree remaining. In the back here we have our fig tree. So it's doing pretty well, setting lots of figs, lots of branches. So the biggest thing I'm worried about is the fig fly. So I'm going to try to cover / block the eye of these figs. There are some grafts on here as well. So there's one graft here, which is Bourgeois Negra. It's a very good tasting fig. So you can see we have some figs on it over here. Like that, for example. But it's a little bit behind and less vigorous. Here's an unfortunate example of a failed grafting attempt. So that looks like it's not going to take, unfortunately. If you continue around underneath here, it's kind of forest. You see another graft attempt. This one I'm still hopeful it might do something. Another graft attempt over there, hopefully do something there. And then finally there's this graft attempt over here. Also hopefully will do something, but not yet. Some successful ones that are older are this. This is a Violette De Bordeaux graft. You can see it's pretty big now. And it has quite a few figs. I've been eating figs off it for a while now. And then in the back over here, there's another Violette De Bordeaux fig, which has a bunch of figs on it as well. It's growing pretty well. I've also been trying to graft my apricot tree. Let's see, I think there's one graft. If you go back out over here, that's taken. And this is an Aprium cotton candy. So we'll see how that does. I think there's a few also flavored delight Aprium grafts. So, oh wow! I hit the tree, so we got an apricot. Okay, it's a nice apricot. So I'll keep that with me for a second. So here are strawberries, different kinds. We have Albion, Meiwa de bois, Earliglow, which is June bearing. Those other ones are ever bearing. I actually think in our climate, which is in Santa Clara, California, the best thing to do is plant these early in the fall and treat them as almost annuals. So let them produce till the end of the next year and then take them out. Because otherwise they really crowd themselves out and they just like divide and multiply in place. And then they, especially in containers, there's just not enough nutrition to keep making good berries. but we do have some good strawberries on there. We've been starting to pick now. It's a nice big one over there. So that's nice. Next to here is one of my plants that is new. It actually grew from a cutting. This is another mulberry called Thai dwarf. And this is a real dwarf. It grows much slower than that ever-bearing dwarf. And not only that, the berries are bigger. This is the second flush though, and in general, it's still not probably mature. So the berries kind of range inside from bigger to smaller. So on the smaller size are maybe matched to ever-bearing, but definitely gets larger ones as well. So I think this is a really great plant. You can grow in a container, and even in the ground, it probably won't get much above 15 feet, and you can prune it easily down to 10 feet or less. These are more figs. So I think this is an Olympian. I think it's had some problem with spider mites as well. So it's sprayed with organic spray. And this is a Charlotte strawberry, which hasn't done that great for me. I think it needs really a ton of sun to do well. And next to that, this is another fig, Celano Tomato, which makes a bigger fig, and also this is its second year, so it grew from cutting as well. Here are some more figs over here. So this is a Smith fig, which is a well-known fig. It grew from a cutting. You can see it's still rooted. This is like a lot of the smaller figs that we saw in the smaller containers, except this is 1 year behind. And then next to that, we have another fig, which I don't remember what it is right now. Both of them have figs. I probably should take them off, honestly. But I'm greedy, I guess. Next here, this is the harvest of apricots that we got today. So I'd say we've gotten maybe like this, maybe twice over so far. So not bad. If you keep going over here, we can go see this blueberry plant, which is Sunshine Blue. This is towards the end of the season. So what are left are some of the smaller blueberries here. But this has started to really produce really well. I think for 3 years maybe it gave very little, and I was actually thinking of getting rid of it. But now really it's starting to kick in. You can see it has quite a few, even though it's pretty late in the season. And I've been picking off of this for probably the past month. Next to that, we have in a container a pomegranate, which I guess I don't really recommend pomegranates in containers. It hasn't produced a lot. There are a few fruit that are set. So for example, that one over there. This one I think is a more obvious example. So there's maybe 3 or 4 fruit. And there's also one graft, I believe, as well on here. This is the sweet variety of pomegranate. But I haven't really got a chance to taste it. This is our big lime tree, which is bear's lime, and it's gone crazy and needs to be continually pruned. It's flowering right now. Most of the harvest is done. Down below, you can see the evidence of our ground squirrel problem. They keep digging holes underneath here. So they actually excavated all that rock from underneath the concrete. So still trying to figure out how to deal with that. Next to here is some mint. It's not looking that great shape right now. If you keep moving around, this is the end of the snap peas. Didn't do that well. This is too shaded out, I think. Next to here is Southmoon, which is my favorite tasting blueberry. Did not do as well this year, but you can see it still has quite a few blueberries on there. So I should be picking these again. It's been producing for about the last maybe 6 weeks. And so we'll see. Hopefully it's going to start to do a little bit better. Last year produced a lot. And this is a gardenia plant. Has one flower. Also, I think struggling a little bit, but doing better. So that's it for the backyard, and I'll see if I can do something for the front yard.